Welcome back to another stream here on the channel, y'all. A little bit late on the intro there, so it's just a tad bit late to get my mic unmuted. But welcome to another stream, y'all. Let's see who we have here today. We have Caleb, Indiana, Sam, Weather Tracker. We also have Storm in here as well. And yeah, everybody else who is watching the stream and may not be chatting, glad to have you here as well today. And yeah, we're going to go ahead and dive right on into this. Haley, welcome to the stream. Rain Maves as well. I didn't even check if I have my scenes correct or not, so we're gonna click this and we're gonna find out together. How about that? That's always a smart thing to do when you're live streaming. August 20th, that's correct. Yeah, okay, we're all good. Ta-da! I set this up about an hour and a half ago because I had some stuff to do before we started a live stream. So yeah, let me go ahead and just start off with our water vapor imagery here across the Atlantic Basin. We'll get into severe weather, of course, here in a bit, but first just want to start with our overall satellite imagery. I'll also change this to the United States so that way we can take a look at that here in just a second as well. It's a good idea. So currently out there in the Atlantic Basin, well, there's nothing. What was Hurricane Ernesto yesterday is now not even on the map. It's a post-tropical storm Ernesto. The NHC did their last advisory, which means they probably... I wonder if they have it up there yet. Yeah, they still have it up there. I believe it will be taken off at 8 o'clock tonight. And then we will officially have no tropical activity in the Atlantic, anywhere in the Atlantic or anywhere in the National Hurricane Center's Atlantic disturbances. Of course, the EPAC is still popping off. So, yeah. Thankfully, tropics are quieting down, and we're going to go into a very quiet, inactive phase that's going to help juke everybody out. Everyone's going to think, okay, hurricane season's done. You know, we're approaching the peak, and it's somehow nothing's happening. So we're going to be inactive. I'm already calling for that. We talked about that yesterday. We're going to be inactive for at least 5 days, if not more than that. But current look here, just a whole lot of dry air across a very large chunk of the Atlantic Basin. You have a very large trough, I believe, digging in here in the southeastern portion of the United States. And then we also have our tropical waves out here in the EPAC. You can see one here. We also have more out here that are already forming into a tropical storm. An area of interest off your screen, not from the NHC, but just an area to keep an eye on. See if I can zoom out for you. It's right there. that's what we're going to keep an eye on, see if it somehow manages to survive all this dry air. But I really don't think it's going to do much, so we're not going to pay too much attention to it. Let's go over to our other scene. This is your water vapor imagery across the continental United States. We have some strong to severe storms popping off in the Rocky Mountains, the west central plains, and then we have a bit of rain showers up in this area, I believe, as well, specifically up here. I saw on radar we had some rain ongoing up there, and then you have that trough, this whole swirly trough up here, low pressure up in this area. I don't think that brought any rain showers to the northeast. There was a chance that it did. I really didn't pay too close attention to that. It doesn't seem like it brought much rain up there at all. And then some thunderstorms out here in Florida because, well, it's Florida. So not a whole lot of activity across the country. There's your true color satellite imagery. We have just a system out here bringing some rain, maybe some thunderstorms, but specifically more of rain. Then, of course, you have your severe weather maker back out in this area. Then your swirly bit up here. That is a low pressure system. So not really much notable activity across the U.S. The most notable activity is up here in Montana. That's where we have our slight risk for severe weather today. We'll get into that in just a moment. Let's go ahead and bring y'all over here where we just actually got a severe thunderstorm warning to be issued on this. And that's all the way up in the higher elevation, so you can't see that unless you go up to, like, for instance, probably tilt 3. Yeah, so that's a new severe storm out there in Montana. And they did remove that severe storm in South Dakota, so that's good. So those storms are no longer severe out here. They were severe. One of them was severe for like 15-ish minutes or so out in South Dakota. We'll switch on over to this scene so that way I can go ahead and show you guys some model runs here. Or actually, we'll start with the Storm Prediction Center. So here is your Storm Prediction Center, National Weather Service. We'll go ahead and just look at today's severe weather. So there's your severe thunderstorm watch that is currently issued out here. I do like this scene better, so we're going to switch back to this one. So this is your current severe thunderstorm watch out there in just Montana, nowhere else under a severe thunderstorm watch. That's for primarily the potential for severe wind gusts up to 70 miles an hour. And also some 1-inch hail, and a tornado is barely even possible throughout that whole watch issuance area. Today's risk consists of a slight risk for severe weather, also a marginal risk. So we've got a level 2 and a level 1 out for the potential of severe weather. Main threats today will be some isolated, very small hail. Primary threat by far will be damaging winds up in Montana, and then a less than 2% chance for tornadoes. And I don't see any type of sleeper tornado risk or anything like that. Does not look notable for tornadoes anytime soon in the near future. Tomorrow's outlook, less than 2% chance for tornadoes. Main threat, again, will be damaging winds in that 15% area, and a large marginal risk in that 5% area for damaging winds as well. Hail threat is also going to be a very small issue tomorrow as well. A little bit notable hail threat compared to today. So tomorrow we could see up to 2-inch hail out in that level 2 risk, 15% chance for severe weather, up to 2-inch hail. Probably won't actually get to 2-inch hail, but we could see up to 2-inch hail out there. Day 3 risk, we do have a marginal risk for severe weather, all the way up from South Dakota, Minnesota, all the way down to Colorado and Kansas, back up towards South Dakota, Nebraska as well. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. We'll probably eventually see a slight risk introduced for that if confidence does increase on more severe weather occurring. And then here's our day 4 through 8 outlook. Not much has changed here. Day 4, day 5, day 6, day 7, and day 8 are all predictability too low. So that means that severe weather will most likely be a possibility somewhere inside the United States. However, it is a little bit uncertain exactly where the highest probabilities will be. I would definitely be looking closer to up in this area. That's really going to be our best shot for severe weather. It may be orientated more like this, more up to the northwest. We'll take a look at some model runs. I haven't looked at the ensembles just yet today, but it's generally the main area we're going to watch for severe weather is going to be up in this region here. But we could also see some secondary severe weather threats that sneak in for like the Midwest, out here in the southern plains as well. And then, of course, we're going to continue to see those thunderstorms firing off out in this area, probably throughout the entire week, out there in areas like Arizona, New Mexico, and Colorado. So, main pattern is definitely going to be more severe weather up in this region here generally, and then elsewhere it's kind of going to be flip-flop, especially if you live in the eastern side of the US and the western side of the US. That's going to be your flip-flop patterns. I believe it's supposed to be more cool out in the eastern side of the US. We've had some very nice temperatures today. I don't think we got to but a high of like 78-ish, right around there, out here in Southern Virginia. So it was actually a really, really nice day today, and hopefully we'll continue with that. If we look here in their discussion, I'm not going to read all this, but long story short, they just say that severe weather will be a very real possibility. However, there is a lot of uncertainty on exactly where that will occur, as well as how much cap will be in place, and if that cap will limit the potential for severe storms to fire. So yeah, that's your overall rundown from the Storm Prediction Center there. We'll go ahead and take a look at some ensembles for our... Oh boy, I got the Windows 11 glitch up there. See it above my face cam where half the screen's blurred out? Yep, that's Windows 11 for you. Still haven't fixed that bug. Maybe they just don't know about it. Maybe I should report it to them or something, because it's been there for months, ever since it was first out. But anyways, here is our... Oh great, now it's on this screen. No, flop it back on this one, will ya? I want it on this one because it's less of a bother. I don't need to use that screen as much. There you go. So here's our GEFS 500 millibar ensembles, and you can see, of course, we have that trough like I was talking about out here in the northeastern side of the U.S. We have a ridge out here in the southwestern U.S., and that is an upper level ridge, so that's why we are having some thunderstorm activities in this area, because it's not like a high pressure throughout all levels of the atmosphere. It's an upper level ridge, which still allows for showers and thunderstorms beneath the actual ridge itself, especially where you have these kinks in the jet stream here, which is exactly what we're dealing with today, what we'll be dealing with tomorrow as well. So this is going to be going into Thursday, and we're going to have almost what kind of reminds me of an omega block. Definitely not an omega block, but that's what it reminds me of, with a low pressure here, and then you have a high pressure in the middle. So we should be fairly inactive. That's why we have a marginal risk for Thursday. But for Friday, we should be fairly inactive for severe weather. And then Saturday, we're going to have this big trough that starts to enter the western tier of the United States. Depending on exactly where this goes, that's going to be our main severe weather maker, if it even is a severe weather maker. And as we go into Saturday, into Sunday, specifically Sunday, that jet stream's going to move over a good chunk of the northern side of the United States, bringing with it the chance for severe weather. Currently, it looks like a very sloppy setup, not anything of great concern. Looks to be, at the moment, really just a damaging wind threat. I don't really see much more than that with it as we go into Saturday, or rather Sunday, and maybe even into Monday. Here's Monday for you. Still have that belt of flow along the northern side of the country, and we'll see if that moves into the southeastern side of the U.S. And there you go. By the end of the month, we could have some severe weather kicking up towards the Midwest. You'll also see that on the supercell composite here. If we go back a little bit more, you'll see some supercell composites spread on into the Midwest as well. And then towards the end of the month, August 28th, you see that move off to the southeast just a bit, even some out there in the mid-Atlantic as well. And yeah, there you go, August 30th, mid-Atlantic, and then that continues to really just stay over the north-central side of the U.S., so not a lot of certainty on exactly where we'll see severe weather here. Typically, we want to look for orange. Now, yellow like this, so this is for Saturday, which I'm in a little bit of disagreement here because our trough will be further to the west. But still, I mean, we could see severe weather Saturday, but we look for those yellow and specifically the orange colors for the potential of ingredients to be in place for, like, tornadoes, damaging winds, some large hail as well. But it doesn't look, all that concerning. We're only at a 2 to 3 supercell composite. We look for like a 4 to a 7. for any type of signal. And then, of course, we have to have instability here. That's another very key factor. And you can see here for Saturday, there is some hot spots out in this region here, thanks to that trough digging in like this. You have some short waves built in and around that area. So that helps to lift up some instability up into the central and north central side of the United States, causing the risk for severe weather out in this region on Saturday. Then as we go into Sunday, look at how much, that's why I think Sunday will be better. We get a lot more instability to build out here in Wisconsin, Minnesota, Iowa, Illinois. The only issue here is our trough starts to break down. Real quick, if we go back to that 500 millibar, look at the difference between Saturday, where you have a very decent belt of flow right in this area. And then if we go on into Sunday, all the way into Sunday here, you have a much weaker mid-level flow here, only about 35 knots. So doesn't look all that promising for tornadoes, at least, because that is going to be a very weak trough. And we can't look at the upper levels here. Well, there you go. Here's your lower levels, actually. That does have a lower level jet with it, so the GFS is a lot more, wow. See, now, if that happened, that would be a more of a severe weather maker on, yeah, there you go, Sunday. Look at that. Yeah, that would not be good, because then you actually do get a lower level jet on that. And you actually do get a whole bunch of instability. But look how capped out it is. See, that is why the SPC hasn't outlined anything. That is a very strong capping. Negative 200 and... negative 125 cap right there. That's going to stop all storms from firing. So, yeah, you can see on the GFS model, there's not even a single rain shower to be seen in that favorable environment. The cap is just too strong. So that's another thing we'll have to keep an eye on, is will that capping lift or not. So a lot of uncertainties on this upcoming severe threat. Could be big, or it could be literally nothing. Because if that cap holds, then, well, you're not going to see severe weather. It's as easy as that. So we'll definitely want to keep an eye on it. And we'll just see how it progresses. And then another trough tries to dig in. Now, this one would be a ridiculous severe weather maker here. It is positive, which would allow for a lesser threat for severe weather. But you could still see, look at all the instability it still brings. Wednesday, August 28th. The 29th, the 30th, the 31st. The good news is, though, because that is a positively tilted trough, it's going to have a whole lot less of a tornado threat, and overall not really much of a significant severe weather maker. But it could be one of those, like, for instance, on the slight risk for severe weather we saw a couple days ago, it could be something like that, where we have more of a large marginal risk as opposed to, like, an enhanced risk for severe weather. So more of a widespread area for damaging winds as opposed to like a concentrated area for severe weather. If this does happen, which I doubt it, it's the GFS. I mean, I wonder, let's look at the GEFS, for instance. Yeah. So not a lot of confidence on the ensembles on a severe weather maker actually occurring. So wouldn't bet any money on that by any means, but it's going to be a pattern we have to watch. And that's also going to influence our tropics as well, because if we do get a trough that actually can build in like that, and then, for instance, say we have like a hurricane like Ernesto that moves along the eastern seaboard, the trough could just hit it right out to sea. So that's also going to be a factor in terms of our steering current for the tropical activity as well. So really just got to wait. It's going to be an inactive period, probably all the way until maybe, if we're unlucky, Saturday, but probably inactive all the way until Sunday in terms of anything notable for severe weather. Tomorrow, I mean, it's a very low end, slight risk for both large hail and damaging winds, no tornado threat. So our next possible solid severe threat could come over here on Sunday, maybe even into Monday as well, depending on exactly the timing of this trough. So if the trough is slower, then we'll see, severe weather Sunday, Monday. If it's quicker, then we'll see severe weather Saturday, Sunday, and it will be out of here into Canada by the time we go into Monday. So still a lot of uncertainties we're going to need to work out. And definitely not a notable At the moment, not a notable tornado threat. I mean, you can see the GFS does have a decent amount of tornado ingredients in place here on Sunday night, but again, it's capped out. It is all capped out. Let's just take a sounding there. So if this cap does break, then we will have that notable tornado threat. If it stays in place, which the GFS has, then that all the hazards will be very much muted. That's a lot of ingredients. Wow. Yeah, that is a lot of ingredients. But look at this. Look at that extremely strong capping that is in place. Really nice photograph. Plenty of instability. I mean, your surface to 3 kilometer lapse rates are a bit low, but really good in my opinion. That's pretty much really good lapse rates. Really good wind shear. Really good varying with height here as well. So the only reason why this doesn't have like a Tor sounding is because of that capping. The capping, I mean, if that's in place, your severe weather's done. Nothing's gonna fire. You might get some clouds to puff up, but then right when they get in that atmosphere, they're done. You'll just see them get almost like a hurricane get sheared off. That's what you'll see from thunderstorms on this specific day if we have a capping in place. We've seen that with other severe events where we see bubblers, and then the bubblers just get almost like sheared off, and it's completely dead. So just depends on if that capping stays in place or not. Not the worst setup for severe weather painted by the GFS model run by any means. If that cap breaks, it would definitely be an all hazards threat with a... I didn't look at the... Let me look at... Oh. That would be a very interesting... probably wind threat. If I had to guess, that would probably be a whole lot more of a wind threat as opposed to a tornado threat. So you'd be looking at like an MCS with spin up tornadoes if this scenario does happen, which it's a low chance. It's just a model run. I would not be concerned. But if you are in this area here, this is back to your ensemble. If you are in this area here, you do want to keep an eye on the weather as we go into really Sunday, August 25th. Because we could see severe weather in and around this region. Now, we have to wait until the SPC highlights something, of course, but we'll see that the best shot looks to be right out in this general vicinity here. The SPC also notes that as well, but like I said, they do talk about the capping being an issue, which is why they have not issued any severe weather outlook at the moment for this threat. I don't really think we can look at the European for this. Gracious! The European is a lot more aggressive with the instability department and a very well-defined trough. However, look at the time here. This is early morning, so you probably wouldn't see severe weather out of this trough in Monday just simply because of the timing of it. Well, nope, you definitely see severe weather of that. So that's interesting. That is a multi-day severe threat. So look at how, as that trough builds in, you can see the instability surge northward on Saturday, and then it sets up over the northern tier of the country for Saturday. Probably would see a few storms there. European doesn't paint anything at the moment for Saturday. And then Sunday would be probably one of your main days because you have that very large open warm sector. Now, I don't think we can see the capping on here, so we're just going to have to see if it initiates anything. And yeah, it initiates some. It initiates something, more specifically on Monday, not really on Sunday. So the main day on the European model would be Monday, just simply because storms actually initiate. Sunday would be a bigger day on this particular model run, but I guess it has the capping built in. We really can't see. We really can't tell based just off the European because it doesn't have, or at least I can't access the same products that I can with the GFS on this site. So definitely a trough that we're going to have to keep a close eye on. Let me go back to your 500 millibar there. So definitely a trough ejection you want to keep a very close eye on. Like I said, if you're anywhere in the northern side of the U.S., you can see a lot of short waves built into this as well. That would help with any initiation problems. And probably help initiate storms, even if there is a marginal capping in place. But if you have a capping of like 100 and what did this have? Oh, this has 240 sin. Yeah, it really doesn't matter what you have in the atmosphere. That capping is going to be able to hold and keep everything at bay. So it's going to come down to a capping issue. That's what it looks like. Your dew points. I mean, gracious day. Gracious day. Does that compare on the GFS as well? I mean, I don't think dew points are going to be an issue. Look at that. Very rich. Wow. Very, very, very rich environment for moisture. That would allow for, yeah, also, wow, that is one setup right there just for the temperatures and dew points. A bunch of instability. Yeah, really, really good. Lower level jet. My goodness, yeah. That would be a pretty solid severe weather setup. A quite solid severe weather setup if that capping can lift. If that capping can lift. So we could end up with quite a notable threat on Sunday, pending on if that capping lifts. But if it stays in place, like I said, you're just going to get these storms. They're going to go up, bubble, and then dead. They're just almost like they get sheared off because they can't thrive in a capped environment. No storm can thrive in a capped environment of that strong. Negative 100 sin there to negative 100 negative 100 to negative 240 capping out there. Storm just wouldn't be able to survive that. Welcome to the stream, Kevin. Also, Misty, glad to see you in here. If you guys haven't already, make sure you hit that like button. It's greatly, greatly appreciated. Does seem like this severe weather threat. I mean, it looks notable. It looks notable if that capping can lift. That's going to be our key issue there. Look at the difference, though, between the GFS instability and the European. I definitely lean towards more of the GFS solution here. Actually, we just got a new GFS model run. Uh-oh, look at that. A lot weaker cap further north on the new GFS model run. This is the 18Z. But our main environment, where you have that lower level jet in place, where you have a good chunk of your dew points in place, that's all still relatively capped out. Look at that shortwave that breaks off. Yeah, that would definitely help for severe weather on the next day, too. You can see how severe weather lingers on Monday in Iowa, just simply because that shortwave broke off. So, not really much of a difference there. Still a very ripe environment, very solid severe weather setup on the new GFS that just finished rendering in for this time frame for Sunday, August 25th. The key difference between the two is that capping more north erodes, and that leads to probably some more thunderstorms. Yeah, you can see some more thunderstorms, some storms that try to get going there in north central Minnesota, but still your main environment on this model run out here is still capped off with about negative 100 sin. So if we had something like negative 25 sin, that would be, you know, kind of depending on what the other environments and other ingredients would look like, storms might actually be able to get through negative 25 sin, but negative 100 to negative 240 sin, most storms, if not near all storms, aren't going to be able to break through that. And then here comes your other big trough here on Tuesday into Wednesday. That swing across the northern tier of the country on August 29th, August 30th. Probably bring more severe weather in and around this general area here. Yep, right away, August 20. Wow. 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 66 lower level jet. 66 knot lower level jet. Wowzer. That is a stupidly favorable environment for tornadoes. I do have one question. Yeah, that would be favorable for strong tornadoes if you didn't have, look at that capping. Negative 366 capping. That is an absurd sounding right there. 305 surface to 1 kilometer wind shear, 440 surface to 3 kilometer wind shear, and your lower level jet at what, 66 some knots. Instability at 4,300 lapse rates. Your lower levels, that's a big issue there. Your lower level lapse rates, that would probably inhibit storms from going upscale rapidly. With your capping, storms would very much struggle here. But if we ignore the big capping issue and the lapse rates issue, I mean, my goodness, wild veering there. That is an absurd kinematic and thermodynamic profile right there. Minus, like I said, minus the fact that there's a ridiculously strong capping in place. Ooh, but look at that. See, it builds in. See how it's a little bit more uncapped at 5 p.m. on Tuesday, and then it's capped out at night? That means storms would probably be able to get going in the afternoon, late afternoon, early evening hours of this particular day, grow upscale, and then they would probably be able to thrive in that environment, even if there is, negative 400 sin in place. They would already be well-established, mature supercells by the time they get into that capped environment, so that would allow for a not-so-fun day if that actually does happen on Tuesday, August 27th, which I doubt it. It is just a model run. We like to look at the ensembles a lot more because they're just, well, simply more accurate. So what day were we talking about here? I want to get that day. So this would be August 28th. What changes between the 18Z? Wow, a full... Look at the full, just completely different pattern. The low pressure in the eastern side of the U.S. gone. The high pressure in the southwest side of the U.S. moves all the way to the southeastern side of the U.S. The trough up in far northwestern side of the U.S. into portions of western Canada moves all the way and is much larger across the, almost the entire northern tier of the U.S. there. Massive difference between the 12Z and 18Z, so definitely don't want to rely on the 18Z there by any means. But yeah, you can see it. Now that I look at it for Tuesday, you can see on the ensemble, it does have a belt of flow here, and that could be another severe weather maker for the far northern side of the U.S. into Canada on Tuesday. So there's a few setups to keep an eye on here, specifically at the moment, Sunday into Monday, maybe lingering on into Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I mean, gracious. Very late this week into all of next week, we'll need to keep an eye on for some severe weather potential, but we're eventually going to work it out. We'll probably have like Sunday and Monday's a severe threat, skip Tuesday, then Wednesday would be a severe threat, and then the rest of the week would be like barely anything. It's very rare for us to get, a full week of severe weather, unless it's like 2024 in May. And you saw the maximum supercell composite. So just to go through this. Yeah, there's really one day that fully stuck out to me, and that was if we go all the way back here. Yeah, look at Sunday. See Sunday? This is maximum supercell composite. Now, again, maximum, so don't take that seriously at all. But I do want to just look through all of these. Yeah, look at all the different setups here. But there's really a decent amount. See, look at it. Look at this means like everything. If you have the low pressure orientated like that, look at the difference between all these setups just at the shape of the supercell composite here. That means absolutely everything, because that shows you where your cold front is, where the focal point for initiation would be, and that would also help for, if your storms are going to initiate more linear or more discrete. I mean, almost a different scenario in every single one of these for the supercell composite here. There is kind of a similar pattern here. You could see how some of these are like straight and then sideways, straight, straight. And then you have other ones that are more of that low pressure look to them. So there is like two different setups on this whole 20 ensemble member plot, but not a good amount of agreement, which is why your deterministic, or not your deterministic, but rather your mean supercell composite is not very concentrated in one spot. You know, you have some yellow down here, blob of yellow here, and you just have a very large area of light green. So till we get closer, there's definitely no reason to panic. Just keep an eye on the Storm Prediction Center, and we'll keep you updated here. I don't know when the next stream will be. I'm most likely going to take a break tomorrow, thanks to the, you know, really, we're not going to see much at all. I may take a break Thursday as well, and then be back Friday. I don't really know because the end of the week for me is going to get busy. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, specifically Friday, Saturday, those are going to be some busy days. If we do see anything pop off on Saturday, that's going to be an issue because I cannot stream Saturday night. That is the one night that I will not be able to stream for sure. Tomorrow, I'm probably just going to take a break. But Saturday, there won't be a live stream, so if we do see severe weather Saturday, let's hope we don't, because I wouldn't be able to cover it for y'all. So that's your severe weather rundown there. Definitely a lot of severe weather possible. And we'll keep an eye on it. But I definitely won't be live tomorrow on Wednesday. I'm going to take a day off. I don't think Thursday is going to be much severe weather. So it just depends on if I can stream Thursday or Friday. I'll try to live stream Thursday or Friday, one or the other day. And then, like I said, definitely no stream Saturday. Saturday is, oh, crap. Friday's a no-go, too. I just remembered I have, oh my word, I'm busy. Friday's a no-go, so I'm going to have to stream Thursday. Yeah, I guess we'll have to stream Thursday, because Friday's a no-go, Saturday's a no-go. My goodness. Well, hopefully I can get those two things out before we go into a potentially active severe weather phase here on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, what the heck, Thursday. Look at it. It's a full multi-day severe setup there. Look at that. That has got to be one of the most aggressive GFS model runs I've seen in a hot minute. That is a very aggressive GFS model run. And you know what? I'd almost bet money on the fact that it'd be gone tomorrow morning. It's definitely not going to look the same tomorrow morning, I can tell you that. So we'll plan for our next stream Thursday. Take off tomorrow, next stream Thursday. Let me just think really quick. What day is Thursday exactly? Just to make sure. The 22nd. I should be available. I should be available to do a briefing on Thursday. And then we'll be full swing, probably daily streams after Saturday or Sunday. Starting either Sunday or Monday, we'll be doing daily streams for a while, most likely. If the severe weather threat does ramp up, as well as the tropical activity, we'll probably be doing near daily updates from there on out. Alrighty, well, that's going to be our severe weather briefing there. Almost 40 minutes of talking about the severe weather threat. We went over really everything I feel like we needed to, I guess, let's see if the 12Z is in just yet on the ensemble. So here's our ensemble. Still not really much of a difference for Saturday. I want to see what it shows for Sunday. So we'll give that another frame, wait 1 or 2 more frames there. And then we're going to dive on into the tropical activity, the tropics, for the next 15 some minutes or so that we are live. I'll go ahead and pull up those sites whilst I'm waiting here for this to finish rendering. Go ahead and pull up our ensemble members. Whoa! Wow, that's actually very much not what I was expecting. Actually, I have some ensembles in the Caribbean. We'll pull up the GEFS ensembles as well. 12Z, of course. Of course. Really aggressive there. Wow. Yeah, that's going to be fun to show y'all. Some aggressive ensembles today, I see. We'll also do the 12Z and the... Pull that up, and then we'll change this to the European. We'll close out these two. Okay, has this frame loaded in yet? Taking a little while to load in. Well, while we wait for that, I'm going to go and show you guys the National Hurricane Center outlook here for the Eastern Pacific. So here's your outlook for the next 7 days. We've got a 50% chance for tropical development to the southwest of Mexico, and then another now 90-90. So they are going to be issuing a advisories on that probably tonight. As a tropical depression is probably already formed there. And that's a 90-90 chance there. Then out here in the Atlantic, take one last good look at this, because this is probably the first time, or I should say the last time you're going to see this without it saying no tropical activity expected in the next 7 days. It's Ernesto's going to be gone tonight, probably at 8 o'clock. They'll take that off the map. And we'll be left with absolutely nothing out here in the Atlantic on the NHC. And then probably as we go towards like August 27th-ish, they'll start to note the potential for tropical development in that main development region into the Caribbean, maybe even into the Gulf as well. A couple different areas to watch. We also have the CPC to go over, so I'm going to go ahead and pull that up as well. I just want to wait for this last frame to render in. There you go. Now, that's a whole lot more confidence there. You can see a very large yellow area of supercell composite on this ensemble compared to the 12Z, where it was more broken and more, not as confident there. Yeah, so that's quite the increase. Look at that. Quite the increase in instability as well as supercell composite confidence, and overall not that bad at all. But it's all going to come down to that capping, which the GFS shows that the capping will probably be enough to hold the storms down. All right, let's go ahead and dive on into our tropics now. How do I do this? I'm going to switch all over to this scene so I can take this over here. And I will take this whole tab here. We'll zoom that in, and I will take this tab back on over here. And then I will switch you guys back on over here. Good. Good to go, good to go. All right, let's start with our, geez, where do I even want to start? So many tabs, so many tabs. We'll close out the NHC. We already went over that. Let's just start with the the CPC's outlook here for tropical activity. This is for August 28th through the 3rd of September. So this is their new outlook that they just issued today, right around 1 p.m. You can see a large chance for anywhere between a 20 to about a 60% chance for tropical development here from the 28th to the 3rd. And I'd be very shocked if we don't see at least one, if not multiple, tropical storms happening there by the early time frame of September. Then as we go through September 4th to the 10th, they have continued that area of interest. And that will probably, I expect that to increase as more confidence, as the CPC increases with confidence for tropical systems to form. So overall, we are looking at a solid chance for tropical development through mid-September, which is to be expected as it is hurricane season. Here is, we'll go back over here. This is your European ensembles, 12Z, of course. Everything I'm going to show here is going to be 12Z, unless I forgot to change it. This is 12Z, this is 12Z, 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 12Z. Okay, so this is all your 12Z data. This is your European 12Z ensembles, and we really don't have much to keep an eye on here until we get to August 27th. There's going to be a wave that starts to push off the coastline of Africa, And you can see two waves, actually. We have two tropical waves there on the 26th into the 27th of August that we'll need to keep an eye on this particular ensemble run. And the European actually develops this one in the Caribbean quite aggressively. And that goes into split, some along the eastern seaboard, some into the Gulf. And look at how much activity lights up. Look at the difference between August 30th and September 4th. Big difference. You have this one area of interest here on August 30th, and then September 4th, boom, you have ensembles here, ensembles here, ensembles here, ensembles here, ensembles all back over here, ensembles over Africa, which means that means more tropical waves pushing into the main development region, so lights up a whole lot on the European ensembles there. Then we go into the GEFS ensembles. I'll also show you guys the deterministic model after this as well. So not much to speak of. Nothing interesting here. And then boom, here we go. August 27th, same time frame as the European. Not as aggressive with that first wave. You can see the GFS does, the GEFS does try to push something happening here in the Caribbean as we go to the 30th, 31st. And then we see the main development region start to kick up in activity as we go towards the end of this loop, September 2nd, 3rd, and then the end of the loop at September 5th here. All over the place, all over the place, whole main development region, whole Atlantic basin lighting up in tropical activity. So we're going to have that flip to where we go from what we are now, pretty much nothing, into a very active phase. And it's going to happen in a matter of less than a week. And if we go back over to your European ensembles, this is using Weather Nerds now. So you can see each individual European ensemble here. Not a lot of agreement on if this will actually form into a tropical wave, but there is a signal. That's what we look for. We look for the signals here, and there is definitely a signal of a tropical system attempting to form here and then push into the Caribbean, kind of like what Debbie did just 15-ish days ago. So that's definitely a signal there on the European ensembles. GFS ensembles, which is GEFS, same signal, just a lot more activity, a lot more tropical waves, all in this entire region here, with probably multiple different initiation points here on the GEFS ensembles. And that lights up like I said, pretty much the entire Atlantic basin here. Which definitely want to be keeping a very close eye on that. I don't see, there's definitely a few tracks here, but I don't see a, like what I saw with the European, where it's just one solid area. This is kind of multiple different areas. One here, one down over here, even one off the Yucatan Peninsula into the Gulf of Mexico. So the GFS is a lot more aggressive with multiple tropical waves forming in late August into early September. And we'll just have to keep an eye on both the European and the GFS ensembles and see which ones end up actually happening. All right, let's go over to your GFS deterministic model run here. My favorite thing to use here is the 700 vorticity. And if we go ahead and pull this forward, not a lot of interest. We do, you do actually see one vorticity blob there. That's actually not all too bad. This is within the next 3 days here. You see that vorticity blob. Not really much to keep an eye on, but it's still, it's still there. And then here we go, August 28th. Look at that, August 28th. 1, 2, 3 tropical waves here out in the main development region on the 28th of August. We push that forward more, see if any actually can develop. They really don't get spinning too much. There's another vorticity blob. Look at that, directly over Cuba. Kind of a broad tropical wave here at the very bottom of your screen. Same goes for here, just off the coast of Africa. Pull that out more. Oh, vorticity blob in the Gulf of Mexico. That goes over the Yucatan Peninsula. Oh, and then we just get a random one. This tropical wave that forms here on the 23rd of August. Apparently, that's what the GFS is saying, actually goes all the way into the Gulf of Mexico and just barely spits out a tropical system as it hits Florida. The likelihood of that is very, very low. That's just really probably the GFS being the GFS, but definitely a lot of signals there on the deterministic GFS model run. We're getting a new one too, but it is the 18Z, which is typically a little bit less accurate, and that still has, I mean, at the end of that August 30th, you could still see one tropical wave that's already dissipated, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe even, I don't think that would be, but really 4, 5 different tropical waves here, and this model run is just 252 hours out. So that's not too bad. European deterministic model run. See what this has. There's one vorticity blob. Doesn't do a whole lot there on the European. And oh, look at that. Look what I just saw right there. The Gulf of Mexico vorticity blob there on the 27th of August. And then there we go. Multiple other tropical waves sparking up. You could see one here, another little one here. Same with the GFS, kind of question mark one there. And then a one there on Africa. It's going to move into the main development region as well. So that's about 3 waves or so right there on the European ensemble deterministic run. Hey, sure, Caleb, if you want to do it, that'd be great. If you feel like co-knit paying for the programs, that would be perfectly fine by me. You're going to have to hire someone for me, though. We've tried it before, but it doesn't work. I do have a way that I could do it manually, but that's just... that's not really what I'd want to focus on, because then that would distract me from actually doing coverage. I know it'd be helpful to see the warnings pop up, but then I have to click the button individually every single last time, and that just... it just doesn't seem appealing to me. But yeah, well, there's your briefing. That's now a considerable severe. I believe that's been considerable for a while there. Livingston, Montana. So that's going to be your tropical update and severe weather update. Hopefully you guys did enjoy just a quick stream today. Wasn't really planning on doing a whole lot of... a whole long amount of updates here, just about an hour. I'll go ahead and pull this on over here. There we go. Don't want you guys, don't need to have my YouTube studio right above me. Let's see. Okay. So we'll keep an eye on the model runs. I'll be back here Thursday for an update. Friday, Saturday, I'll be busy, and then we'll see if daily streams will be needed from Sunday all the way through next week or not. Yeah, we are starting to end the stream cap, man. We already finished our whole briefing. It caught the tail end of it. I mean, better late than never, though. So, yeah, like I said, next stream will be Thursday. Then we'll have another one Sunday, most likely. I am busy Friday and Saturday, both days. Let me quickly go check something. Hope this don't have audio. Let me just mute stream just in case. There you go. Just in case this does have audio, I want to see on Friday when this is. Friday at... um, 7:30. Jeez, that's a late one. But yeah, that's gonna be about it, y'all. We're just gonna sit here until we approach that ending time, and then we'll start ending and wrap it up stream. And I'll see you guys on Thursday's live weather briefing. I don't think I'm gonna be able to get a video out, considering I'll be busy Friday and Saturday. So expect a late video. Normally I try to get it out either Friday or Saturday. I forgot which day I try to do it, but it's somewhere around Friday, Saturday. So it will probably be a bit later of a video. Probably at the beginning of next week before I could get a video out again. I do think we'll be live on the gaming channel tomorrow. I think that's what we're going to be doing in place of a weather stream. So if you guys have already subscribed to the gaming channel, we'll most likely be live sometime tomorrow night with Lucky, if pending Lucky. That's what it's really going to depend on. If I'm live tomorrow, then that means Lucky managed to actually stream for once, and if I'm not, then just know Lucky decided to cancel stream again. So next weather stream will be Thursday, gaming stream tomorrow, and then like I said, I'll be back with normal content Sunday. Sunday will be a stream Sunday, probably Monday, probably Tuesday, and so on and so forth, depending on what the severe weather does. That's the thing about weather. If you don't know what the weather does, which it's unpredictable, then I don't know when to stream. So my streams depend on what the weather does. Weather's inactive, the channel goes inactive. Weather's very active, the channel really gets active. So yeah, that's going to be it. I'll see you guys on the gaming stream tomorrow. Thank you guys for tuning into this live stream. Hopefully you did enjoy the update. If you did, consider hitting that like button, sharing the channel with your family, friends, social media to help spread weather awareness. And if you are new to the channel, consider subscribing. It's greatly appreciated. And I'm glad to have you guys still hanging around here. In terms of the winter forecast, Lord knows when I'm going to be able to get that out. I may do a community post on that or something. Just, I don't know when to get that out. I do not know when to get a winter forecast out. I suppose I could do it end of September. That would probably be the best time for it. Mid, probably very late September, pending on tropical activity. That's gonna take some effort too, because that will be one of my, heavily edited ones, which we normally do that about 2 to 3 times per year. Typically hurricane forecast, sometimes tornado forecast, depending on if I do a tornado forecast, which I did this year, and then winter forecast. So yeah, I mean, Caleb, I could get one out, probably early next week, but it's not going to be accurate. I don't want to do a preliminary forecast if it's going to be completely atrociously inaccurate and useless. So I don't want to give a forecast that's going to be dead wrong. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching today's live stream. All the mods from Monchat, greatly appreciated. Stay safe, watch severe weather, the tropics. I'll see you guys in tomorrow's gaming stream, Thursday's Weather Channel live stream. Have a great rest of your night. Goodbye.
See you later, brothers.
Stay safe, for severe weather tropics. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great rest of your night. Goodbye.